All right. Hello. What's going on? Welcome to Race Brain Podcast. My name is Rich Ryan, joined by Jack Bauer and Bracken Crocker. Today, we have a heavy dose of Hyrox to talk about. We talk about the last chance qualifier that happened over at Cologne and just the implications of what that means going forward. Then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of OCR talk. Then we have a DECA event in SoCal that we're going to preview real quick. Jack, we had a beautiful sunny weekend in Colorado. How's the skin?
Oh, I put all that sunscreen on there. I do that year
Oily.
round. Yeah. Do you have like all the trees starting to bloom? Because we have this really nice crab apple in the front yard, and that tree turns like this nice pinkish red. And normally it's right around Cinco de Mayo, but it's a couple weeks early right now, and it is looking good.
Things are blooming early, you say.
Yes.
Jack projects early spring. Jack,
Early
Jack, and
spring.
Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah,
But then
Puxatawny Jack.
that's what he told us, right? Early spring this year.
So you're from Pennsylvania. Like,
Sure am.
is Punxsutawney, is that a location or
Yep.
okay? Have you
It
been there?
is. It is out there. It is like
Okay.
Pennsylvania, where that
Pennsylvania.
is just
Okay.
way out in like north. I think of State College, northwest of State College. It's out there. Apparently, it's a
Oh, so
party.
yeah.
Apparently, it's a party
I mean, that's probably the only thing that they've got going that day,
that all year.
all year.
BK, you subscribe to Punxsutawney Phil? Are you from? You read from the book of Punxsutawney Phil?
I think the best thing that ever happened with groundhogs is when it bit that reporter right in the neck.
That was the apex
That's it.
for groundhogs.
Yeah.
Big
It's as
fan.
far as my allegiances lie.
Big fan. Squad, we have Hyrox to talk about. BK, we went through and talked about the race and what was going to happen. I think we were wrong from the start.
No, we nailed it. We didn't get anything wrong. What are you talking about? 100% accuracy.
But we'll talk about the men's first. BK kind of sprinkled in there. He's like, I think JK's going to win it. And man, he
Just
came out
got it.
and smacked everybody. Absolutely crushed the field, winning by almost 2 minutes, right?
More.
Listen, I believe
5403
he
versus like
could.
56 something.
I believe he could win. I believe in that boy, but in no way, shape, or form can I claim that I saw a absolute dusting coming. He smacked the field around. He just put on a show, no doubt out there.
Anthony Parasini messaged me. He's like, you guys are wrong. James Kelly is going to destroy people. And I was like, I picked him second. I've seen what he's done all year at the majors. He's been like the best of the rest every time, who just missed making the auto qualifier. No chance that I expected him to do this well. Absolutely decimated the field. It was so impressive.
So he runs a 54:03. Joffrey Voisin finishes in second in a 56:57. Yeah, so
Murdered.
almost 3 minutes, and he really took the lead after burpee broad jumps, which in the races that I've raced against him in is a place where he seemed to struggle. That seems
You
to be where
mentioned
his,
that might be a point where he is no longer in contact or starts to fade a little bit during the preview episode.
right, and it was
He
the
flipped it
exact
all.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had that interesting the way they had it set up. The split didn't read because did you guys watch the recap?
Mhm.
The
Most
recap
of it,
video or the watch along, whatever it was. Like it was a down and back, and then you kind of turned and went down and back another lane. So it was giving you the split after the first lane, and I was like, "Wow, this seems crazy how fast these are."
So fast.
But it was just messing up the chip itself. But then he took the lead there, and it seemed like he had that momentum that can happen when you do take the lead in a race.
Mhm.
And we saw this happen with Dylan pretty much in DC where he had the lead and then it was just like the energy that he was feeding off of just kept pulling him away from other people.
There's that strange. I mean, I guess it's not that strange, but that strange ability to be the best at both once you're pulling away.
Mhm.
Like up until then, it's like I got to give something up in order to do really well at this. Then you get the lead, and you're pulling away on a station, and then outrunning everyone right after it. And that doesn't seem to happen until you're in the lead.
It doesn't
The
happen
crazy
if you're
thing-
in like fifth.
No,
You know?
you don't take it on both ends there. You
Mhm.
need to be crushing people's souls to like take that energy back.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Harry Thompson gave a pretty solid run for the first half of the race or so, but after burpee broad jumps, he was 42 seconds behind. You had Tobias kind of make his way up. He was 35 seconds behind. And then in the last 4 zones, he puts 2.5 minutes plus on everybody. And these aren't scrubs. These are people who someone in this field is going to make world championships. You have former world champions. I'd say almost everybody in this field has at least competed in a major or been in the Elite 15 at some point in Hyrox history. He was not, despite the 54.03, what you want to say about that, he beat some very, very good athletes by almost 3 minutes, or pretty much everybody by 3 minutes at least. It was such domination. I was so impressed.
And that's what's great about this format. Like winning, you're in. Like nothing else matters, right? And nothing else matters for James in this. He just went out and took care of business, and he belongs, right? Like him. It's interesting seeing this, right? Like JK and Joffrey have been in, or could have been in every Elite 15 race. I think Joffrey just did not do Chicago, but those have been like basically the 2 people in this field who have been like the people that were on the brink of getting in.
It's proving the system. Right? It proved the European system.
Europeans, right? You can't. No one can get, if you get in on a roll down in Europe, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about the championship style racing is that like time goes out the window, like we said, but those gaps, like I can't read into those gaps. When there's one spot on the line and someone's obviously on a heater, like, what emphasis did they have to hammer walking lunges when your world's just exploded in front of you? So the time gaps are impressive, but it really shows A, that he's fit, and B, that he was running with motivation, and Joffrey had some, and everyone else was kind of just like, well, there goes that.
Yeah, and that's a good point about Joffrey, because I think he came into wall balls in 9th.
Yep.
And like, so he wasn't the one person that
Past
like
7 people, it looks like.
Yeah, where everyone else had kind of put themselves there and had at this point been fading, where Joffrey's coming up. And in that post-race interview, he's just like, I can't go out hard. I can't run that hard. I have to make sure at the back end I'm there. And that's what he did. And he put it together. 3:16 wall balls. It's unbroken and fast.
That's like the fastest
Megan
we've
Lauren
seen?
level. Yeah.
Have we seen many other people go sub 320?
320? Because that's 2 seconds per rep. That like 320. So that's flying.
I don't know.
It's not little.
Nothing that no.
No kidding. We know that, you do not want him within like a minute of you on wall balls, because guess what he'll do? Just like he's done several other times when he's put in massive performances
We've seen
at the end.
bigger positional swing on wall balls ever.
9th to 2nd
in a positive
like
way.
This.
We've probably seen 2nd to 9.
Good question.
Yeah.
That's basically what Harry Thompson did. I think he was third.
We've seen Michael Sandbach a couple times have bad time on the wall balls, but like
first to not finish is the worst, obviously.
Yeah.
But and granted, a few of those people had checked out, but still to be that locked in still in 9th place, crazy.
Yeah, so good for Joffrey, and that's something that would be interesting right now for the athletes who are kind of on the outside looking in. Like, if you have a performance like Joffrey, again, we'll talk about the times. I don't want to talk about times too much right now. Let's wait until we talk after we cover the women to kind of get into what was going on over there. But if you're in this race as a European racer, who here should come to Anaheim, you think? Or what would you need to see from yourself to be like, all right, I'm booking a ticket, not going to be cheap. It's an incredibly long flight. Like from France, what's that flight? I mean, that's 9 time zones, 9 hours of time zone.
Yeah. I think it was a 7.5 hour flight. Yeah. It's like 7 hours to most of Europe from Colorado for time zone difference. So add an extra one for Pacific time and 2 extra hours on a plane. And you've got to realize you're going to be facing the best athletes who are in the same exact position you were in Cologne, fighting for the last 2 spaces, because there are now 13 of the 15 spots on the men's side are claimed. That's a tall ask right there.
Yeah. So what would you need to do? Who would, like, if you feel like if you're like Luke, right? If you're Lucas Storath, just wasn't his day, right? You could say just
that was surprising.
He ran much better in DC. He wasn't really even a factor here, and that's just would a sign for him that he's just like not in it that day. Are you like, all right, that's just a bad day. Let's see about this travel. Let's get over there, take my shot. Or something like it seemed like the same thing for Win. Like he just wasn't really in it. It's just like, hey, bad day. Let's rub a little dirt on it. Get back to the drawing board for a couple weeks. Hit it hard. See what we got. Or it's just like, let's just push it to next year.
Only the person who feels like they are immensely fit and made a mistake should go. From like the coaching standpoint. From an athlete standpoint, I totally understand being pissed off and like, I need to go after this. This was my goal all season. But as a European, I just think that if you don't have a really good chance, that you should just begin your off season and show up as fit as you can for the first fast course of next year, because then you punch your Elite 15 ticket. Like, I just wouldn't even risk the money and the disappointment and anything else about travel. I think I would just right away, like, for example, Joffrey, he understands what his path to a world podium is, and it can't be fixed in a month. But
now,
a year from now, he could be an entirely different runner, health-wise and fitness-wise. So I think I'd get right on that.
I'm going to take the opposite for Joffrey, where he's in his 40s. Lucas is in his 40s. It's like, how many other shots are you going to have? Do you think being a year from now, April, May, whenever they have their last chance qualifier, if they have the same system next year, that a 44-year-old version of themselves is going to be better than their current?
Yeah.
I think that they're the ones who might want to go. But in general, we've seen it be more of a one-way street, where if you are coming from Europe to the US, you tend not to do better. Most athletes, you see Alex Ronkovic and some of the others do pretty well coming over, but in general, it seems to be better traveling east than west for athlete performance. I tend to agree with most of what you said, Bracken, that I would probably just shut it down, and it's probably not going to work out, unfortunately, for most people.
That's like the objective brain.
Objectively.
That's like the brain.
Yeah, that's
thought.
what we're trying to do.
The heart thought.
But as an athlete, you want to go out there and be like, dude, yeah, whatever. 3 minutes, I lost, but it just wasn't my day. I could totally take down these people.
Well, if you're looking at it again, if you're looking at it just from a time perspective, if you're Eugenio Bianchi,
Key.
huh?
Bianchi.
Key.
I heard that from Luca, who's from Italy. So
Then that's
unless he's trolling me.
great resource.
Yeah.
Great resource. If you're him who went from 59.0 to 57.0, you're looking at this field of American athletes. The fastest person there is going to be 58.17 or something like that.
Mhm.
Whatever. Collins 58.13. Whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm that dude right now. And same with Joffrey. It's like, I just ran 59.30. I just ran 61. I just ran 56.
Mm-hmm.
Give me another 4 weeks. I'm gonna run 55. Watch.
Yeah. Linear.
I don't disagree with it. About your 40 plus comment, I thought about that, Jack. If you're 40 plus, you don't know how many more shots you have. But at the end of the day, what I came to the conclusion is that we're not running that fast. That's the only thing you're losing as 40 plus is your actual fast twitch and recoverability. And if you can recover this year, you're going to recover next year, most likely in between workouts. And in your 40s, you can still get close to PRing a marathon. And no one's really at the pro level running much faster than their theoretical marathon pace. Very few people. Only the big boys are running faster than their marathon pace. Rich, you running faster than marathon pace?
Probably not, unfortunately.
Yeah, like the Stieford is.
Yeah, probably.
You're not.
I
Lyle's
am,
not.
No,
but I'm not
So
there.
it's not a speed race.
it's not.
It's grown man strength race.
It's not. It's gonna be at some point. It will be, but right
Yeah.
now it's really not. Someone that would be interesting is Jack. You mentioned his name in last week. That Sadiq El Fatouri.
Yeah.
He got hit with a
Fifth place
He got hit
on
with a
that rope
penalty
pole.
on the pole. He
Yeah.
got hit with the penalty on that sled pull, and that penalty is disproportionate. We talk about this in OCR sometimes, where it's like we want to see the penalty match the
Hit the crowd.
yes. So it's like if it's a rig, you can't just like bail on it and have like a dinky little penalty. We want that penalty to be bigger. This is like if you step on the line twice, gaining half an inch of advantage, they make you go all the way to the other side, pull it back 5 meters, and then run all the way back. So it's like a 10-meter penalty kind of, plus
Yeah.
the run. it might be like a minute.
Yeah,
Plus energy.
extra
Plus
energy.
Yeah.
It's a rep. We're in a rep-based sport. You should just have to repeat the rep. Like it's a no rep. You got a no rep on that pull, so you have to go to the other side and make one pull and get out. Like to me, that makes sense.
It's still
The
a
run
lot.
down's a huge. Like if you just had to run to the other side, do 2 pulls and leave.
Oh,
I think
at
it's
the
a big. Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
At the very
On-
end, you've
on
been
turn
no
number
rep
4.
3 times. You have to go down and do 3 more pulls.
Yeah.
You have to get your heels from the front to the back 3 times, and now you're gone. It's still a huge penalty, but it's at least not going to end your day.
Or you have to stop for 10 seconds or something like that. Like you get like a
That might even
penalty
help.
box.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, you're
No
it's
forward
something.
progress during that time. Yeah.
Yes.
And we had our discussion on track and field where we're, long jump, they're trying to change the line where you can jump from, and because there were just too many penalties and stuff. If those people are as precise with their footwork as possible, you're telling me, and they're willing to change it even to give a little bit of a box like 3 inches or so on either side of the hypothetical line. You're telling me that someone in their peripheries pulling a sled, they're not trying to get an advantage. They still have to get the entire thing past the line to turn around at. I think it's not as big of a penalty as long as you're not egregiously putting like both heels in front of the line. If you're like a half an inch, even if you get warned, Bracken's penalty's fair. Just don't make them stop their entire momentum, their entire pull, and go back and put them out of the game at that
like
point.
an ender. It really
It's
is
3
like a race
stations
ender.
in. It's yeah.
Yeah.
Or they can get a
what's the
whole
wall
foot,
ball?
one whole foot, or like 1 foot can go past the line.
Yeah. Or even on the
Both
pull,
feet
it's like, hey, instead of just reaching the line, now you have to do an entire sled length past the line or something like that at the end.
That's not, yeah, right.
Stay in the same direction, but just go a little farther.
Yeah. Wall ball, you miss a rep, you just do it again.
Right. It's
Whatever
2
the
seconds, like
closest
Jack said.
version to
I
that
think
is.
more than 2 seconds in the women's race if you miss a rep, but yeah, we'll get
Less.
to that finish. But
And-
yeah.
Anyway, it's
Yeah.
the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Neither does their in-out punishment. That has to be addressed, I think.
That's silly.
But again,
But yeah,
most of these times it's not done maliciously. Like people on burpee broad jumps, I think sometimes are just trying to rep better and
Mhm.
trying to go faster and trying to steal some time. Sometimes it's just your brain dead. But the pull, it's just so easy to lose track of where your heels are.
yeah, you can't see
Yeah. So
You
either
can't
put
see that.
something there that you bump into.
the box.
like a parking curb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something you can't trip over, but
Oh,
something you bump
never mind.
into.
An
Or
electric fence.
or like your judge just taps your back.
Right.
Feel pressure, stop moving. But otherwise, yeah, if you can't see where you're going, I don't think you should have your race ended. It's the only penalty that ends your race.
Absolutely. This happened to Jezebel Kremer too. And she was in the mix. She pushed like a minute 45 or something like that. So I was close on saying
Yeah.
that she was going to make that move. She just didn't do it on the run. She just did it on the sled push, and then ultimately paid a big price on the sled pull. So what do you think this means for JK? JK's in the Worlds. Anthony Parasini thinks that, he's a favorite to win the thing now. But what does this mean?
Is that hyperbole by you, or did he say that?
No, he's just gassing him up. He told Jack. He's
Yeah.
gassing him up hard. I mean,
Yeah.
they're working,
He's working with
together
him now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right. But I mean, did he say those words? He's a favorite to win.
Rich
Oh,
is making up that stuff.
I'm making that
But he
up.
might think it.
But he's hitting the second fastest Hyrox time of all time.
It was dominating, regardless of time
For sure.
and who we beat. And I know that other circumstances, either second is as good as last in this type of race. People, hey, I'm out of the race at this point, whatever. But I still think with the qualifying and stuff, it was worth trying to pursue a fast time. You're never going to have as deep of a field as this, even if you get 3rd, 4th, 5th place or whatever, that you might get a fast qualifying time that'll at least keep you in the top 30, or I guess now top 40 for next year.
And you can't cruise in a Hyrox because you're one cramp or penalty away from someone going 100 unbroken and you don't catch them. But to me, that was a top 3 male performance of the year. Just from optics, it was Dylan in DC.
Yep.
It was JK there. And it was Ronk with the rower debacle.
Mm.
Like those 3 performances,
yeah.
just from a optic standpoint, were the 3 most dominating performances of the year. And so all 3 of those people have to be considered in the favorites for Worlds. They have to be considered.
What are the tiers now, Rich? You're one of these people who are going to be competing. Where do you put people?
That's kind of what I'm asking, right? Does this jump
Does he-
JK a bunch of tiers?
I think
Like,
right now
yeah.
it puts him in that first tier. I don't know how it can't.
Well, I think there's a first tier, and then there's the people I just talked about.
Okay, like a capable of winning versus a capable of podiuming.
Not capable of winning, because I believe there's like 7 or 8 people capable of winning, but the people that should win, and then people that could win. Because you can't put JK with Hunter right now.
There are 4 guys who I think could win.
You can't put Dylan with Hunter yet.
5.
You know, even though they could beat him, and they might beat him, he's still tier 1. And it's disrespect to put anyone else that hasn't won a world championship in that tier with Hunter.
So are we just going to draw the line at Hunter and Alex? Based off what we've seen, like, for me, it's hard not to put Ryan Kent here, but just if you're going objective off of the season that's happened in the most recent races, even though he did win a major and beat Alex.
All time, Kent is with Alex.
Yeah. Their resumes are very, very similar.
We put Kent in that category.
Mine's a
too?
pyramid. Row 1's Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then row 2 is the biggest monsters on the earth who are not Hunter. And so it's Kent. It's Ronk.
I think Rylan and Dylan would go there.
You can't have more than 2 on a pyramid.
Yeah, so it's
What kind of
Kent,
pyramid are you
Ronk
drawing?
next.
1, then 1, 2, then 1,
And
2, 3.
two. Think of the
You can make,
NBA
you can make
pyramids.
wide pyramids. You can do whatever. Hunter's a wide guy.
For the sake of this experiment, we are
All right,
not.
fine. We're doing 1, 2, then 3. Okay, so
3.
top 6.
Then
So
the
now,
3, I think, becomes Dylan.
yes.
JK just punched it because of that. Based off of this year. And Pelayo.
Instead
Not
of Rylan?
We've seen Rylan a couple times, Valencia, and we saw what he did in Chicago, and he beat Pelayo there.
Sample size of right now of this season, yes, Rylan has to be there. Is he showing up? Is he healthy? Like, is he past his things? I don't know. But yeah, I guess this is where my pyramid idea sucks.
Yeah.
No, you have to do it. Now you got to pick.
I still put JK below Rylan, Dylan, and
Pelayo.
Pelayo for the season, yes.
And I think that is fair. Like, this was the least competitive race of the year. We must not forget. Okay, like, what he did was extremely impressive and dominating fashion, and the time was crazy. But this was but he's the 13th seed.
Season, right? He's still with you.
Yeah.
Right? Snapshot, he's top 3. That snapshot of that race, he's top 3 right now.
If you take the times and you put it up against the whatever, like,
and
sure.
optics, yeah.
But no, I don't think optics because it was the least competitive race of the year.
So is this kind of like, a college football team beats a really good team, but their quarterback got hurt in the 3rd quarter? So like you really didn't beat everybody or them at full strength, but you still beat a bunch of good people, but it doesn't have the same weight.
What it comes down to is that we're discussing it and we weren't a week ago.
Yes.
Which shows how powerful that race was.
He's increased his, he's improved his stock.
Okay, so we have Hunter, Ronk, Kent, Dylan,
Rylan, and now it's Pelayo
JK.
Or Sandy, JK.
Yeah.
Pelayo or Sandy, yeah.
Because Sandy, until the rower, you don't know what was going to happen at the end.
Sandy's best finish in majors this year was 4th, I think.
We're putting a lot of stock in what he's done and in his doubles with Hunter.
I'm putting no stock in that.
I mean, from optics.
If we're going by doubles, Rich is in the first tier.
I'm in there.
All those world records.
The Pelayo with a 2nd,
Pelayo,
a 4th. Yeah, okay.
And then the next tier, Sandy, Rich, JK.
Yeah.
And
Bo?
Tim
or Bo? Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interchangeable because, like, just as we saw in the results here, there were a lot of athletes within 30 seconds of each other.
Who else is in? Am I on the bottom? I mean, I'm the 12th seed. So I
Well, we
should
only
be
have
close to the
13
bottom.
people, so this is a weird shaped pyramid.
Jack, you don't even know how to make a pyramid. Over here
Make a
talking
pyramid.
about.
I bet you
pyramids,
like
this
the
and that.
food pyramid.
Then we got Tomas and Graham. I mean, yeah, this base. I mean, I could be knocked down.
Yeah. No,
sure.
Rich, you're up.
Only because this is a show that I'm on. But
No, I'm putting you up there anyway.
thank you.
Yeah.
JK, and then I mean, yeah, like who else do we put here? Like Graham, Tomas, Tim,
Yes.
everybody, I guess. Oh, you can have a wide base. You can't have a wide fucking point, Jack.
We're going to have a
Yeah, you
very
can.
wide base.
Big wide base.
What if Hunter gets hurt? Who do you put at the top?
He is hurt, right?
He's back. But let's say for some reason he's out. Or even in this women's example, are you putting Lauren and Meg? Is one of them tier 2 or both,
We can do our
tier 1?
We can do our pyramid in a second. Relax.
Well, it's got to be the same shape pyramid because
We're not talking about the women.
Yeah, relax.
And
I'm just
if
telling
Hunter-
you, your pyramid shape is flawed, and I have
No.
issue with it.
I don't understand
It's
how you
mathematically sound.
Yeah, ready?
Okay, so there can only be one person on
At
the
the
top
top.
of the pyramid,
And it's Hunter.
Yes.
and that's the capable
The
of
same way as there's one
heavy
person who
favorite.
wins the race.
But if we're
Yes.
talking about the women's
We're
race,
not.
how
We'll
We'll
get there.
get there.
I am. But
You're ju-
okay,
you're- you're-
I'm going to
you're
When
hold
the
excited to
aliens gave us the idea of the pyramid, they didn't put Meg and Lauren at the top because they were talking about men at the time.
All I'm going to say is I'm walking off the show if the two of you dare have a different shaped pyramid.
We will not.
Okay,
You're the one who
I'm
has the
gonna
problem
hold
with
you
the
to it.
pyramid shape.
Plus, men and women have different shapes, Jack, and you need to remember
Oh,
that.
okay.
So if we choose a different shape for the pyramid, that's
No,
fine.
We will not choose a different shape for the pyramid. We're sticking with one at the top of the pyramid, both genders.
But
Yes.
to answer your
I don't see what the
theoretical,
problem is.
maybe wedged in their question, if Hunter's injured, who takes the top spot? It's easy. It's Ronk right now.
Alex,
I think so
yeah.
too.
I think
so, too.
last year, the year before, we would have said Kent. But until Kent is fully Kent again, which he could be next week for all we
Yeah.
know, like he's obviously trending in the right direction. It's Ronk right now.
So
And
he
then everyone
soloed
slides
this.
up one.
He soloed this, right? Because he ran in a later wave, Ryan Kent.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Bottom row: Sandy, Rich, J.K., Tomas, Graham, Bo, Tim. Then it goes Plyo, Rylan, Dylan, Ronk, and Kent, and then Hunter at the top of the pyramid, as pyramids are shaped.
Now,
that-
Europeans are not going
Yeah.
to be happy about Kent being in that tier with Ronk right now because of his most recent performances. And our response to that is politely suck it,
Shut up.
Yeah.
because there is some historical context at play here. And if
And he
you
won a
really
major.
think,
How many majors did they win this year?
Yeah.
if you really think he's not up there, then that's fine.
You stupid.
Make your own pyramid.
This is our pyramid.
Yeah. Make a
All right.
different shape pyramid.
On to the women's last chance qualifier. Zara Pergiani ran a great race, executed
Oh, yeah.
perfectly, took advantage of the spots where she knew she could, and really made that happen. Jana Liebenstedt,
I like it.
basically a complete. Yet, Jack, you're better on like the Spanish names. Your German name, I don't get corrected very often when I'm talking German.
No, I thought you nailed it. My last name is
That's 'cause you
German.
don't- that's
It
'cause you
means
don't know.
farmer.
Oh, please, you're
Jack
talking to a
the-
cracker.
Jack the farmer.
Whatever that is.
That's
yeah.
tough, dude. You wouldn't survive
Yeah.
a
That was a night
day and a
farmer.
half.
Yeah.
You have to be a worm farmer.
Yeah. Like I said, I work the night shift. I don't do that daytime stuff.
Kate Davey rounding out the top three, securing that final spot in Cologne for the last chance qualifier, punching her ticket to Worlds. Really feel good story there. Almost goofed it up pretty bad, but was able to complete the 100, not the 99 wall balls. So she is on her way. Yeah, this race was pretty interesting with the German athletes being pretty aggressive up front, kind of the opposite of what we thought would happen, where we figured it would be pretty tentative. But athletes like Jana and then Sika Arning and this other athlete, I think it was Caroline Lieb, were very aggressive running up front.
Yeah.
And then it was just picking up the pieces. Then the Brits just picked up the pieces as the race went along. But Zara was there, and she was just there. Got to the lunges and was just gone.
collected.
Really was. It really was. When Kate Davey made a move in the burpee broad jumps and the runs after, like Zara hung on and just waited and kept her cool, got to lunges and just went and just put in work right there.
She covered all moves and then made hers. And that's a really, really veteran style of racing.
I like the way that she was doing wall balls too. She wasn't putting the ball down, but she would like hold it and like look at her judge. And it ended up being pretty fast, like 3:36, and she was braking but not putting the ball down. So she probably broke 4 times, but without like dropping it, walking around, feeling bad for yourself, just like holding on to it. It's like, where am I? And then just keeping it going. So this really, I mean, she's been in 3 of the 4 majors, I believe, and has been kind of in that mid pack. But same thing, it kind of went on with the men. Like the experience played out in her favor, and she knew exactly where she needed to be to run her best race, and really, really came through in the big moment.
Now, what was the story heading into this? We were like, what's going to happen in the women's field? This is the first time ever in a major race where we have not had Lauren or Meg at the front to kind of dictate things. And steady paid off, basically. That's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Putting yourself in it. I don't know who we picked. BK was like, I pick everybody.
I said
Alina.
nobody. Alina?
Nobody.
Yeah, Bracken named like 5 people that he thought could win, and then was like, but
and he's like,
I don't really
3 people we never heard
hold me
of.
to it. Yeah.
No, I said that we would have 2 in the top 3 that weren't on the initial start list, or 2 in the top 5.
Yeah.
Which we had at least 1.
We had
And
1 in the
saw
top 2.
Laura Valgreen show up, and Ida came to the start line, and
That was a late entry.
yeah, a couple of these other German athletes like Caroline Lieb, Sabrina Hahn.
Did you look up any of Jana's previous stats? Because obviously she came in kind of as an unknown, but did you know the European Championship in Vienna? So they had athletes who were not in the Elite 15. They were in the open wave because they didn't have the pro division there, I believe. And she ended up getting second behind Alice Scherer, who she has a top 30 mark. I think she just won like within the past couple of weeks or so.
She just set the mixed doubles records with Ronk.
That's where I saw her recently.
Which I was surprised she didn't race this race.
Yeah, no, I agree. But so Alice went 61.15 in Vienna for that, and Jana went 61.57. Camilla was 62.54, so she beat Camilla by 57 seconds that day. So clearly talent.
She can run.
Yes,
she can run.
Yeah. And it would have been interesting having some of the faster runners like Meg, Lauren, and Linda if they were there, just to kind of see if she would have went out with them as a pure runner. Who knows? Maybe she could have won the thing. But Zara obviously was the star of the show, though.
I had written down, could Jana be the next Belle McFarlane? This is her second pro race.
Interesting player comp.
That is.
She lost how much? Like on her farmers, she was 153, and then let's see what Zara was for that. I guess not too bad, 141. But she dropped the kettlebells, I think 4 times, and like doing the thing, trying to like hold it, like bending her arm, trying to pull it. So she was just and that's a station that can be cleaned up pretty quick. And the way she moved through wall balls, at least, showed that she didn't have like mobility limitations where sometimes runners can have, where they're slow up and down. She seems like she's a good athlete, and she can run, man. So I think that she will. I guess she's coming in as the 11th seed, 10th seed.
That means nothing.
I believe she will outperform that seed.
Yeah, in a long-term projection, like a year from now, I think some power people coming in is scary if they learn to run. But in a short turnaround projection, a runner who needs to figure out farmers carrying a few things like that, that's a scarier projection for an athlete here. Because you can, like you said, you can shore up little things like that much quicker than you can learn how to run.
Absolutely. And just her second time in a pro race feeling that weight.
Mm-hmm.
She could mix it. She could be, like the podium seems pretty set on the women's side. If everybody shows up and performs to their ability with Linda, Meg Jacoby, and Lauren Weeks, but that 4 to 6, 7 range, I think that's open. I think that's within.
Vivian's got 4 locked up.
Vivian has that block, the Delory spot.
Delory.
4-5 every year, someone just runs a good race and winds up 4th or 5th. He doesn't put themselves in the boom or bust and just executes and winds up there. And there's no reason she can't be on the short list of people who could do that.
And what Belle did last year, she just went for it. And then
She
was
kind
just
of found
gone.
herself on the sled and was like, "Oh, I'm here." And
She smashed the
see what
sled and then
happens.
was just like ahead of everybody. And
Yeah.
Megan Lorner just gone. And then there was just like a gap. So I don't know.
And Alondra got screwed.
Yes.
I'll
was
never
this-
let that die.
That was the sled pull situation. Why'd you draft her?
No, just she deserves that.
She was
This-
wronged.
The sled pull penalty is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
And hers
Like,
was like double bad or something like that.
it seemed
Like,
crazy. It seemed like she was
got
never
hosed.
off of that thing. She's still
Should
doing
put that
sled
in the
pull.
bracket, the foolish bracket.
It's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there. We'll put that in the 2025 foolishness bracket
Yeah.
next
Every
April.
year.
Next April. And then Kate Davey again ran smart. These first 3 stations, the race really shakes out after Brittany Broad jumps. It seems like the race is fairly set in terms of like groupings. We don't see big comebacks from the row forward. It's usually like if you're there after Brittany Broad jumps, that's probably where you're going to be, plus or minus some stations. Maybe you fall backwards, but it's rare that athletes will come out of there 45 seconds back and then will find themselves at the lunges or wall balls with the top group. It just
Unless
seems
you're
to
like a
be-
Joffrey and you just have that
he
skill
even
set.
came in 9th. You know,
he
he
was
wasn't like
behind
with,
the
he wasn't
group.
like with the
He
group.
passed people, yeah.
Same with Graham Holiday. That wasn't really with anybody. He was just like
Yeah.
hammering it.
I'm good at this. Everyone else isn't.
Yeah, that's great. Like Joffrey and Graham did the same thing. They basically like 3 good stations, and the rest are just like okay, and the runs are just fine. But
Acceptable.
that's like
Yep.
enough. Yeah. But Kate Davies, she went after it. She ran a really tough, hard race. Seems like she ran out of steam a little bit in the lunges, and then the wall balls. She finished 99,
99.
ran across the line, and then ran back. And Dylan brought up the point of, oh, should this be a penalty? And we all said, shut up, Dylan.
Shut up.
That's so stupid. Why
But-
would you say that?
Yes, based off their rule book logic. No, based off all of our hearts.
I'm glad that they didn't implement some sort of, and maybe that's not how it's written for that, because it's not really an advantage.
She had to run
No,
uphill even.
It couldn't be an advantage whatsoever.
It's not an advantage at all, so I don't see why that would be penalized.
Neither is going in the wrong.
But
lane.
it can be. It depending on where the in and outs are. If you go out,
But even
the
if you
out,
go in it, come back out, and then find the right one, you're still penalized.
that's true.
Was that what happened to
But-
Gabe Heck? He ran out the in or something like that. So we do have
Yes.
precedent for it.
And they were like next to each other, where it was
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, you saved
It wasn't on opposite
2.5
sides of the venue.
seconds.
Like, yeah.
right. So they probably just have it written in there. But yeah, maybe Bracken. I don't know. I don't know if you
Do they
would-
have verbiage about leaving a station early?
I don't know.
Because if you cross the timing mat, you're out of the station. I want to be clear. I'm not advocating for a penalty.
But that's just
I'm
like
only
here-
using Hyrox logic.
and like this is how our timing system works. If you cross it, like it just automatically happens.
Yeah.
Right. It's not about like what kind of advantage you have because of the in and out situation. Like sometimes it is an advantage, sometimes it's not. But you cross the mat, it's a minute penalty no matter what.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know if it has something like if you leave a station early. I mean, Sandy got DQ'd.
Well,
But
that
he
was
basically
such
he just-
extreme circumstances right
He
there.
decided not to do. That'd
He's
be
like,
like,
I'm done.
that'd be like if Kate Davey did 30. I was like, I'm just gonna finish, and then
I'll come back.
and then we'll be good, right? I'll take the penalty or whatever it is. Like,
Mhm.
no, you can't just like skip a station.
He basically said, do something about it.
They're like,
Yeah.
okay, like you're disqualified.
We will, but we're going to do it through the PA system.
You got,
Yeah.
yeah, you've got to give credit though to the judges for being like, get back there. Because imagine if, she only did do 99 and they weren't.
Terrifying.
Oh yeah,
It took so long. In real time, it wasn't that long, but in
I know.
watching it, she's on the ground. They're
Collapsed.
hugging. Like, oh
Yeah.
no. Oh no. Is
Get
someone
back.
going to cross?
What do you think it was? 10 seconds?
That's one of those what's real time versus relative time there. It probably felt like an eternity, but yeah, probably by the time she took off, laid on the ground, came back, it was probably close to 15 seconds, honestly.
She's just lucky that no one was on her heels.
And Rebecca Nather was finishing fourth. Had a really strong race. Like we've seen her be a bit up and down, but she's been in the World Championships twice now. And during wall balls, it seemed like she had a pretty tough wall ball where she was resting a little bit too much. She's probably kicking herself for that type of thing, just because she could have been a little bit closer. And then Jezebel finished in fifth. She was still 50 seconds behind Kate. So say like she was a minute behind her without the miscount of the wall balls. But with that burpee penalty, with the pole penalty, like, she might have been right there. She may have been right there.
Yeah, I mean, Kate still had 25 seconds over Rebecca for third versus fourth. So, like, despite the hiccup, I'm glad that it didn't end up costing anything, because that would have been a terrible way to lose your championship spot.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I've just to get back to the running. So Kate, we typically think of her as one of the fastest runners. We ahead of time we assumed she was going to be the fastest. Her 8K split was 31:54, and Yana was 31:42. So not too often you see Kate Davey get outrun, unless you're Lauren or Meg or Linda. But
those are such fast times.
Yeah, they really are.
Good segue, Jack. Because
into pyramids.
Oh yeah, pyramid.
Let's do your stupid 1, 2, 3 pyramid. Go.
I certainly don't understand how this is an issue on your end. If anything, it could be like 1 and then maybe like 3 around, maybe making it 3D. But like
you're already changing the shape.
No, I'm just trying to
2D pyramids.
I'm just trying to justify what you're even talking about. How was geometry not your? Like you were just straight up. What was your best?
You were saying
subject?
There's only one available spot.
Yes.
In one. So who's going to get it, Meg or Lauren?
Well, that's what we're here to debate. Not the structure of pyramids.
Are they really different tiers? I think they are identical. So how can you not have 2 people at the top of the pyramid for the women's race? Both of them have won 2 majors, and
because that's not how pyramids work.
All right, you guys take over.
If we were doing tiers, Jack,
I'll refrain until you guys make some stronger arguments to make it sound like I don't know pyramids.
Well, I mean, we're talking about like the former 2-time world champion, world record holder, won the last 2 majors. You would think Lauren would be on top of the pyramid, correct?
Yeah, if historically they go back and forth, and right now Lauren's hotter, and for the first time has kind of started to distance stat-wise over the past 9 months. Yeah. Lauren has to currently reside in number 1.
Jack?
I'll give you that.
The problem is no one gets to be number 2 with her.
Yeah.
With Meg.
That's a weird shaped pyramid, isn't it?
But if we were, now we have to. It's Linda.
But aren't you
can say that Linda has been
your
next
level
to
of
Meg.
the pyramid? If you're on a pyramid, your level, you are interchangeable with each other, right? In theory?
In theory, but if following the Hunter theory, if he's injured, Alex obviously jumps up. If Lauren gets taken out, they don't have equal shots of moving up.
Yeah.
Meg ascends immediately because she's already essentially there.
This is a very Bracken take on your end, Jack. Just trying to hedge and make everybody the same.
I think
if we were doing a list, you can't have multiple people at number 1 or number.
Now, my initial take was to put 2 on the top of this pyramid and say we're doing twin towers on the women's side because it's only fair. But as soon as Jack took that position, I tripled down on pyramids.
Yeah, this is a new gimmick that we're doing. Come on, we didn't
want a pyramid scheme to me.
This gets the people
going. Great opportunity. So Meg, then Linda. I mean, Linda was second at the last major, and has been third at all the others. I think it's clear that she's on that second.
Is this what your pyramid? Oh, that's too bright.
Oh,
damn it.
Man.
See, geometry, you stink.
Right? No, it's the stupid thing. Never mind.
Man,
we're making the pyramid. We're making the pyramid look like a pyramid. You're the one trying to misshape.
I'm showing you what your pyramid looks like, and it doesn't look like a pyramid.
1, 2, 3.
That's the guy's
triangle.
Pyramid. I'm fine with that.
That's the woman's too.
Get out.
And currently Lauren has it. And if Meg wins worlds, we're all screwed.
Then we'll change the pyramid.
All right.
Heavy lifting, we can do it. Who's up there on the tier? A third. Then I think we're talking about
Vivian
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Vivian, Michaela.
Yeah.
And then it's between Viola and Rebecca Mason, who we haven't seen in a bit.
Rebecca was really good early on this season,
hmm
but she raced in DC, was it?
Yes,
I
and
thought she
she
was like
did not do
fifth or
well. She did
so.
not do very
Or
well in DC, but she
okay,
was
maybe
fourth.
I'm
She was
mixing
fourth
it
in
up.
Vienna, and Rebecca
Vienna was the
Mason
good one, yeah.
qualified with a fifth in Stockholm.
Esticle.
Yeah, you're right.
I give it to Viola currently.
And
then you
Michaela?
got Michaela stays there. She's the Kent exception to this rule, where even if lately we haven't seen it, we know her body of work justifies it.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
average place in the majors, Viola has raced all 4 of them. She's 6.5. Rebecca raced 2 of them, and she was 5.5.
I mean, that's hard because it's
And I won't give the numbers, but her percent of winner is slightly ahead of Viola.
Well, then we have to.
all right. So
Mhm.
we're putting Becca Mason there. I mean, there's their stats.
I mean, she's got higher average place and higher closer to the winner. So
All right. Becca
if we're
Mason.
going on this very scientific pyramid, we've got to go with her.
Great.
Well, it is a pyramid, so that is yes.
Yeah,
Science.
exactly.
As long as you're not advocating,
You might even
for
make the argument that
hammerhead pyramid.
you could expand this pyramid to 4 people, but we won't.
I don't know. Something's wrong with your brain today.
1, 2, 3, 4.
How hard
Easy
is it?
peasy.
How hard is it? So it's
You got a wider
Viola.
pyramid. It's just slots on each level. But anyway,
Put Lauren Griffith here for sure. I think well, this was our base was wide on the men's. So
Miller.
then basically what we have is that what'd you say? Well, she hasn't qualified
Miller.
yet. I mean, like we're just
Oh,
doing
yeah,
world,
she
we're just doing world
hasn't.
qualifiers. But yes,
She
I
hasn't.
agree. So and then it's Kate Davey, Yana,
Zara?
Zara after this.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean that's everybody. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Done.
like, do we put Alina on here? Because throughout the year,
And she finished 15th or something.
Yeah, she was 7.3 for her 3 races before here, and
Is she in?
wasn't even a factor.
No.
And
She's
she
not
can't be
in.
on. She's not
Yeah.
even eligible.
We're just doing the qualifiers.
If it was
here.
based off strength of season, she's a tier ahead.
How many more seasons until we can do an all-time rankings?
Right now.
This season. After
Right
this
now.
season, we can do an all-time rankings.
All-time
hybrid?
pyramid ranking. Yes.
Ooh, we're number one.
I think once
We'll
you
rank
have,
the rankers.
I think you need probably about 10 years so that you have enough experience for the new people to really put them into perspective.
That's
Because
no
like
fun.
Then I
Even like a
discredit
John-
anything you wrote for ORM or Mud Run Guide back in the day about rankings prior to the 10-year mark of Spartan Race World Championship history.
All right.
That's like just happened,
So,
right?
so that would probably be
Nah, 2011 was the first one.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Which I
about-
DNF'd.
Yeah.
You're in there
Tyrone
though.
Traverse.
That could have been it, BK. If you would have finished that one, what you were going to win that race?
No. Hobie 1, Josiah 2, young Pack and I were back and forth for 3.
Did you step
Bracken,
on the
you-
line thinking you were going to win though?
I thought I had a chance.
Yeah.
So
Could've been
Bracken,
it.
if you pulled that off, that was a super that year. You could have had a super, a short course, an ultra beast, a beast, world championship podium. 4
I mean, that's
different
that's
distances.
GOAT conversation.
And then they have a sprint one this year. Like,
We don't know what
come
that
on.
means.
Jump in the 40, jump in the 80, jump in the
Yeah,
more than 3K. You'll be killing
greater
it,
than
dude.
3K or longer than 3K. That's what they called it.
If it was just a 40, but you had to only do it if you were top 20 in the beast, I like my odds.
The
If you didn't get
fastest
to
slow
let
person,
the ninja people, fastest slow person on earth, I'm happy with that title.
all walls.
Yeah.
What if it was just 40 of walls?
What 40-meter
I
pipe
still need
layer.
the slow people.
Just get through.
Really?
40 is so explosive.
Yeah.
I raced
Dude.
Mac Roche in a,
Oh, Europa Games.
I don't know
He
if
was
that was what it
nasty.
was called. It was like 30 meters total.
It was
and I
that thing
couldn't-
where you had to like put a tennis ball on a traffic cone and like do a U-turn with some
Sounds cool.
sandbag carries in each
Sounds
arm
sick.
or something. Was that the thing? Because
it was like 20 meters down and back, and I couldn't get within a second and a half of the guy.
He was just gone.
He's so fast, just so fast. Like his monkey bars, his hands are just faster than mine. Everything he did was just faster twitch. You can't make up for sprinter speed.
What's his sport background?
He doesn't open up a lot. I don't know.
Okay. All right, fine. All right, let's talk about. So first, I just shouts to Hyrox.
The rumor was he was a 4-3-4-4 guy.
With walls.
No, back in the day.
Yeah,
With
You
walls.
know how that is, though, right? Everyone knows a 4-3-4-4 guy.
If he like
you were bragging, right?
if you're
4-6-9.
did he play?
Oh, actually,
Did he play college football then? Like if you're
I don't know.
4'3" with that size, they'll
I
put
mean,
you somewhere.
4-3 in that day and age was hand time. We didn't get lasers
could-
until the last 10
Maybe
years.
that could be like a 4'7".
Yeah. I was laser 4-6-9.
Were you?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty fast.
Like I said, fastest of the distance runners, fastest of the slows. Give me that.
Did you finish and you flexed? You were pumped about it too. You were like, "You guys all suck.
Pull
Wait
a
till
hammy.
wait till I get my sport."
Still waiting. All right.
All right. So shouts to Hyrox for these recaps. I really enjoyed the way that they put it all together. They cut it in post, gave about 30-ish, 35 minutes of content to consume. It was perfect for just
Good workout size.
It was a good, yeah. It was like, if it's like 10 or 15, that's like not good enough that I can
Too
stick
short.
it onto the bike. I'm
Yeah.
finding something else. But 35, that can get me through like a lot of a bike workout.
Or
lot
a
of a
full
trail.
threshold workout.
For sure. For sure. So I
Oh,
really
thumbs
enjoyed
up.
it. See, now that was actually appropriate.
Yeah.
And they had Lauren Smith there, the homie, doing the recap. It was really good.
Good intros.
Good intros. They had some preamble stuff. They had some post interview stuff, so you can get to know the athletes a little bit more. The quality looked really good. This I believe was the right move as opposed to a live stream. A live stream is nice and all, but hard to execute, probably more expensive. And with an open course, I just think it would have been challenging.
You're
because
saying it's the right move for a last chance qualifier or for all the majors?
for this one, not for all the majors, no.
For if you're not going full budget.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And they turned it around in like a day.
That was nice.
Post edit. Yep.
And you had Kent down there giving us live stream, and you had JK? Did he have
I don't
some?
know. There was a watch along on Rock's Life. I don't know who. Maybe Bo. I think Bo may have been on site doing some stuff. But yeah, thumbs up from me. Real life thumbs up. iOS thumbs up. So
Give us one.
I think there's a bit of a refractory period with the thumbs up. I don't think I can just be hitting it.
Way too many thumbs.
See, they're like, oh, that first one could have been a mistake.
That's a good audio clip right there.
I don't know. So shouts to that. I did enjoy that. I think that was the right move for this event. And if there's other big events down the road or other like bigger races and maybe they want to highlight things, I think this is the way to go.
They can
any
do
thoughts?
it for a doubles race.
That's another
lot
a
of transferability.
right. Depending on what it like, how much something like this would cost. Yeah, like a doubles world record attempt. If there's two, like exactly. I think that's a great
Good format for Deca.
Could work for Deca. But Deca's so short anyway. It's like
It's about this. You could show the whole race because it's about 30-minute time domain.
But like, for example, the Deca fits where it's not a priority week race.
all of them.
This
We're
weekend's
about to
going to be
get to-
nasty.
We're about to get to a contrasting opinion of that.
We're gonna see. But yeah, Deca. I think Deca the race happens a lot more on the runs than like the stations and
That's
Hyrox
true.
change things.
Show the whole air
Deca-
bike. You can do that. Like certain
Like,
certain key elements.
Catching the run is very important in Deca, I believe.
Deca stations are so fast though that they're entertaining to watch.
Yeah, but almost nothing happens.
Yeah, that's true. So what does it do to you for the run?
Yeah, that's too short. All right, let's talk about these times. These were fast times, boys. These were some very
How many minutes?
fast
I'm not even
times.
saying seconds, Rich. How many minutes are you going?
7 to 10. No, I legit like but like actually 2 for sure.
What was Zara's PR heading in?
It was 62 something.
Okay, and what was
That was at Stockholm, which was also
Okay.
2 minutes fast.
Okay, and what was Eugenio?
59.0.
Okay, so he took off about 2 minutes. So you think
Well,
People
across
should be
the board-
peaking though, right? It should be PRing right now.
I think when
We
you have
good sleds.
when you have the equipment was new. That definitely
Equipment was
is
new.
worth mentioning.
Yes, absolutely.
But I do think once you get a mass of talent in the same area, you're going to push each other with a lot on the line as well. This isn't just I still have 3 more majors left. It's like, here's my shot. Unless I want to travel to the West Coast of the United States in 2 more weeks to pull this off, that's a hard sell.
But also the idea that we talked about, there's one spot, and then everybody after that has nothing to race for once they're being smashed by JK. And we have 11 dudes who would have gotten on the podium in DC based on time.
Time-wise.
Like, are you serious?
Grid. We know we can't look at grid times.
But it still counts.
Well, that's the
still
problem.
counts.
None of this
'Cause
matters because there's only one slot and it's a last chance qualifier. When you're in that, nothing else matters except these times count for Elite 15 next year.
Yes. That's
So
why it's
that's the
absurd.
downside.
Yes.
But they
exactly.
expanded it to top 40 now for their qualification. But the thing is, how often is it going to get past 30?
Well, it doesn't matter if it goes down more. If people just run a crazy time.
Yeah,
like,
I'm saying
not
if
helping anyone.
If you have a fast qualifying time, you're going to just stick with that.
So what we're referring to is that there is a qualification time. There's a majors qualification ranking 24-25 now up on Hyrox rankings. I believe MBD did something about it, but we don't know what it means. They just expanded the total times from, I guess, the year to 40 as opposed to 30 before, because they had this issue. They had this issue where they couldn't go past 30 on some roll downs, which I think they only had an issue filling spots for DC, and they still filled it anyway. Like, they went beyond the 30 and filled it. So this could mean literally nothing. You know, it just took out the times from last year. Like, there's no more Barcelona. Magita's time is now Vienna. It's not last year Chicago. It's just basically turned over the 12-month. But man, like, it's just, and obvious. This is where I am personally biased. Like, I'm 26th. I'm going to start the season like outside of the top 30 next year.
And what have you done to prove yourself all year? Oh, wait.
Right? Got myself on a podium. Doesn't matter.
So what do you have to do to get into the majors next year? What are your guaranteed paths in that's not time?
Well, if you look at their slot right here, they have 2 separate lines. One of them at the 15th ranked person, and then another one 1st through 4th. But there are only 2 on the women's side because Lauren and Meg have both won. And then they have it on the men's side, 1st through 4th. They have Hunter, Alex, Kent, and then Dylan. Each of them has won a major so far. So that's where there are 4 automatic. So it looks like unless you won a major, you do not have an automatic berth next year.
Yeah,
so
that was really smart of them to win that major. Should have thought of that shit. But they and then at Worlds, right? They could roll down to top
Podium or
5,
fives, yeah.
Or they could roll down the next 3 who aren't these 4. Do you know what I mean? And take it down to 7, which in this scenario, again biased, I think would be fair. But if you just keep it
on the
at
women's
the
side,
5,
you'll open up it for more people because you've had the same 2 women win both of them, so that at least expands it.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. But I don't know. That's what I would think. Top 3, like, they're gonna, if they give away 3 spots at Worlds, they seem fixated on that 5 line. So having to be top 5 at Worlds could potentially give 1 more of these, and then just like ripping a time at like Bo Wills at Stockholm 56.0. You know, Tomas at Maastricht 56.20, and then like outside of it, they got now Sadiq Al-Faturi and Peter Schiller. These guys are both under 58. Florian Gass has like a 58.0, and they.
So you could take top 5 in every major, 6th place at Worlds, and not be eligible for a top 15 major next year.
Right. I could not qualify.
Yeah.
I could not have the opportunity to run any major at this point.
If 24 people ahead of you, some combination of them decide that they want to race, Rich doesn't race a major.
Right.
Which after this year,
based on our interpretation so far.
After this year, seeing the screen time and social media time and attention that the majors are getting, You really think people are not going to declare next year?
Even this year it was a lot more. It seemed like a
People
lot
are going to
more.
be there.
Yeah.
You can't not.
You
So what
might
it
get
means is
lucky.
that
You might get lucky if you have two on each continent and you're hoping to get into the second one, because some people might be like, all right, I already clinched my spot. I'm not going to show up to the second US one or the second European one, but that's kind of your only luck.
And maybe they restrict it, right? Maybe they restrict one of them.
Mhm. Anaheim now becomes the most important race for U.S. athletes of the year across the board for every single U.S. athlete. Anaheim is now the most important race because it dictates whether we can race on this continent next year or not. If Anaheim with this setup, if we have a bunch of people break 58, you're like, okay, we can do it here. That's fine. If it's not fast, every single US athlete has to start making plans to travel to Europe in order to get into the majors.
And it doesn't always go well. It like the travel the both directions.
East to
Right.
west is
So Anaheim is
harder.
is paramount for how seasons are dictated next year.
We got to hope that that is incredibly fast, and or like another route. And maybe at World Championships they'll just mismeasure the runs again, and then
Mhm.
everybody runs
Super fast.
56. You get 15th. You run 56.0, and then like you're in.
Boom.
Because that's basically what happened here. Like now, Joffrey again this is his fourth opportunity to qualify, and Wynn was in similar boat. They're gonna have these times that are gonna stick with them for forever. Like this is 56, 57. Like
And if you don't think they can bust one good race next year, and not calling them out, but it's like if you have the opportunity to run 4 majors and you run them all, you're gonna pop one of them next year, and it's just a perpetual cycle.
Well, that's the beauty as an athlete. You only have to get it right once per year. But the the danger is for all your competitors. The Europeans only have to get it right once a year.
and it's like a luck of the draw. It's like they get a course where the runs, like I think the runs were mismeasured in Cologne.
Of course.
They seemed very fast, right?
You had
with the-
people 12 to 20 seconds faster per K than they usually are.
and like typically that would be made
Times
up on
10.
the rock zone,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was like a long-ish, but from the word there, seemed pretty straightforward.
Was it longer than US rock zones?
No, and it was like 3 minutes, 3:30. It wasn't like a 5-minute rock zone.
Right.
Right. So, and then, like this is, I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know. The 11 people in this race under 58:15. When like ideally, Jack, yes, if this was a mile race with 13 awesome dudes and they all finish bang bang bang, everyone gets a fast time. That's not what Hyrox is like.
No.
Nope.
It's not a train of you drag people along. There's no wave light technology making sure you hit a certain time. It's
People
just,
one or
were
two
getting
people run
murdered. People were getting murdered in this,
yeah.
and they
Yeah.
have times that are going to keep them in like the elite.
If this were a mile, everyone would come into the wall balls together and it would be decided by who didn't break and who had faster reps. But it's not that way. You can't sit and hang with people in a Hyrox. You're separated. So let's just say, Rich, Jack, Anaheim's slow, New
Mhm.
York's slow.
Mhm.
That's it now. Where are we going next year if you want a qualifier? Like where if you're looking, which you're going to be in this situation most likely, unless you pop one at Worlds, which let's hope you do.
Short course,
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
do that.
but top
where
five
are we
too.
going?
Top five.
Like what is
Come out
the
of the pyramid.
historically the safest landing spot?
I mean, who the heck knows, dude? Who knows? And now this was new equipment over there.
Maastricht, Copenhagen.
Maastricht seems to be
Chicago's
it.
pretty fast.
Chicago, if they keep that 2-lap format, that's probably the move. I don't know. New.
I think you need every single fast US athlete to show up, to agree, like, guys, we're going for it right now.
That's not how Hyrox works, though.
It's not. It's
I
like
know,
we need to
I
get the
know.
person measuring
Look at
the
these
course
results we
to be
talked
like,
about.
We're going to screw this up for you in
The
a very good way.
variability.
Gone. JK out. Ronkovich out. You know, when Rylan out. You want to be alone at Hyrox.
We're not
Yeah.
saying to win, we're saying to get fast times.
Yeah, I
Fast
know.
time-
That's what I'm saying. You can't run a fast time without being in the lead, it seems.
You need like the Ollie Fricker
Yeah.
situation. Fast course, win by yourself, come across.
He's not even in the Elite 15
56,
though.
56, but he can be. He has like a 57.
23.
He's 16, 57, 23.
Yeah.
We need a situation like that where, because if it's a fast course and you get fifth, You know, there's still 4 dudes in front of you.
I think
Mismeasured course.
Yeah, despite the issues with this, it's still worth mentioning how much things have progressed. 59:37 is the 40th fastest time in the past year on the men's side, and on the women's side, 66:34. If we said that a few years ago, that's like laughable to think that it would grow to this level right now.
Yeah. Right.
Half of that's growth. Half of that is it's a different sport. It's a different test.
You don't have 50-meter sleds.
Maybe a third,
and
and a third of it is cut in the thirds, and a third is goofy setups.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. So
That's all.
let's handicap this.
Okay.
What is a sub 60 worth now?
Compared to,
Because it used to be if you break an hour, let's say 3 years ago, if you break 60, you're world class. What is that number now?
58.
breaking 58 or having a 58x.
I think breaking 58. Looking at the names here.
That's crazy.
Because who hasn't broken 58 but is world class?
Me. And Colin.
It's coming.
Anas. Gabe.
Who's been in a major
Tobias 58
and hasn't broke 58?
Yeah, me, Colin,
Graham Halliday 5808.
Harry. I think Graham had a 57 last year.
Oh, okay. You're talking
Tobias has
about
gone 57 in the past, right?
Oh yeah, 56 something.
Yeah,
I think.
definitely.
Harry Thompson. I'm not sure if Florian's 58 flats pretty much. I don't know if he's.
What's
been
Magita's PR?
Like 58 10-ish.
Nah, 58 high.
Oh, was it? Okay.
His PR, yeah, 58.
So that was just a slow
something.
course that he won Europeans in.
Dylan pre DC.
Yeah, it was 59.11 that he won in DC, and then Dylan pre Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, that's right.
Yeah,
58 might be the number.
that might be it.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be running 57s. Like if you're running 50, like yeah, the 15th time right now is 57.19. Next year it's going to be, and now it's just like when I start looking at these 56s and 55s, I'm like, are those real?
It's hard to know what it means.
Yeah.
Because even if it's 90 seconds slow, it's elite.
Sure. And that's the thing with JK, right? Like, again, this course was fast. Say it's 2-minute fast. JK runs 56 flat. That's amazing. That's an amazing time, right? And that's kind of what Dylan had for Fort Lauderdale, right? He ran 55 low? 55
40,
mid?
I thought.
55-40?
Something, yeah.
And then runs 56-30 and kills everybody at North American Championships, right? Like,
yeah.
So I think JK's is probably worth a 56 flat, which is elite. All right, enough. If nothing else, I'm going to be consistent. I will never.
This won't be the last
Stop
time we talk
complaining.
about this.
Never.
I'm gonna, but still, after all this, the right people are in.
I know that's what sucks. But
It hasn't yet screwed anyone over.
I know, but it could.
Yet.
There are.
It's about to, unless the right guys get in Anaheim.
Short course at Worlds. They want a world record set at Worlds. They do. They want someone under 50. And then everyone else is going to be 52.
Did you see Hunter's changed his from sub 50 training to sub 52 training?
52. Yeah.
No, what do you mean?
Well, he's been talking about someone's going to break 50 and his goal is to run 50 minutes. And then his most recent video said sub 52 training.
Change his mind.
Changed his mind or got inside information.
Maybe.
I do have one other bone to pick on last chance qualifier. This was the second to last chance qualifier. I think they need to rename that next year.
I like it. I like it. You're
because you can't be the last. You're like the last chance or the second to last.
Second to last chance qualifier. Solid. I like that. Some other happenings over in Cologne. There were several records set. Mixed doubles were set by Alex Ronkovic and the teams. BK hates it. Double yawn. Impossible. I don't believe the double yawn.
There's just too many.
And then Elise Schurer, Jack? Shower?
Alice, or is it Alice?
I don't know.
Sure.
Sure
it is.
So they set a doubles record fast. They broke Ryan Kent and Meg Jacoby's record.
They beat us bracket by a lot.
Women's doubles was set by Meg Jacoby, Linda Meyer. The homie set that one, so that one's legit. Then the mixed relays was also Meg, Ryan, Lucas, and Linda, also legit. The one I want to talk about, Alex Ronkovich drops down into an open and runs 50 flat, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what
50,
is the
12,
specific.
50, 18.
50, 38.
I was way off.
You gave it a shot. So
Add them together.
this
So
is
Hunter's breaking 50 and Alex by him can't do this in open. No.
I gotta see these splits. Because if I was to do open, I think I would ski even more conservative and then just like try to run. His second run was 317. Like, that's crazy.
There was a 318 in the pro race.
Was
That's
there?
the second run. I'm fairly certain there's the 318
That
in
must
the
have
pro
been,
race.
This first run must have been long, and then that was your first like short one.
Someone
Yeah.
fact check that.
We could do that for you.
We'll get tech support on it.
So he runs, 50, 38, breaking the previous record by, I don't know, 4 minutes or something like that. It's a very polarizing topic here.
Mm-hmm.
What are our takes on Alex dominating this record?
It's a different race. I don't care.
It's the age group race, which makes it weird. But I like the idea of someone setting the curve for every age group athlete to know, here's what the second tier of the pyramid can do in our race. Now I can see what my record is, percentage of winner. Jack's tickled pink that I use that phrase.
So pink right now.
But
And
I think it should be set as like not in boxing and MMA rankings, the number one ranked person is not the champion. The champion's here, and then the next best person is ranked number one, and it goes down from there. That's how I kind of feel like this should be. He set the curve. He has the all-time best, but the age group ranking should not be pro athletes.
So number 2 is number 1.
Yes.
No.
Because he's not in that division. He's not eligible because he's a pro athlete. He can go run the course and get a time, but he can't be the best ranked age group athlete because he's a pro athlete. That's my take. I like having it. I like seeing the comparison, but he shouldn't appear on the list. Unless
think
it's
it should be
above
like
it.
a world record. Because
No, it shouldn't be the world record. It's a world best.
Jack, what are your thoughts?
I don't mind, honestly, that he does. I don't agree with Bracken's 1 and 2 there, second place is first right there.
Nice.
But it does
I'd
set
say
the
second
standard.
place is first. He's not, you can't win a race you're not eligible
At what
for.
point, what if he doesn't, what if he decides to take a couple years off or whatever, comes back, doesn't make the Elite 15 because they make it difficult?
Then he's
for him and
eligible.
stuff? But do you retroactively
Why?
be like, well, he was
No.
pro back then, so it doesn't count? The tough
No.
thing is we're so used to seeing age group versus pro or elite, whatever you want to call it, from the OCR side or even Deca, I guess, as well for the hybrid side. They're on the same exact course using the same exact obstacles, weights, standards, whatever. Hyrox is the only one that changes it. And so do you kind of see this like CrossFit where they have RX versus, scaled version? Is that
This is
that
scale.
what this is scaled? But there are still, what if someone decided to do the scaled version of it? Like, and they
There's
still
no-
did well.
There's no record. There's no champion at this scaled.
But people do say like, oh, I have the fastest time in this CrossFit workout. People do that.
Do.
Constantly.
Do that. Yeah.
I
You don't like
kinda-
it, Rich?
I,
Oh, you do?
I kind of love it. I think
Oh.
it's awesome. For kind of different reasons. There is no reason Alex should run this race. Like there is literally like it's a good workout maybe, but he should not be in this race, taking away podium spots, potentially world qualifying spots, which you wouldn't. It would still roll down. But this is happening anyway. Like the athletes who are running these records are chasing it just for clout. And now Alex showed them, hey, you cannot say that you are a champion or a world record holder because you're not. Because this is the step down from the big race. To me,
Yes.
this is not a different race. It's not like this is not Dekafit to Hyrox. This is a stepping stone. And Hyrox kind of makes that clear as well by not having a world championship and making the world championship all pro weight. So this just like discourages people who want to kind of trick people into thinking they are better than they are in Hyrox. Because
False.
now it's
Agree,
like
100%.
here is what a good athlete, an actual elite of the elite athlete can do here. So your 55s, just move into pro and do 61, 62 and take your lumps. Like, do not drop down because now you can't do anything
for this. We called for this back when what's his name dropped down and ran it. We said, well, now we need Hunter or someone to go do it just to get rid of people clout chasing. And so that's why I said, like, I like it setting the curve.
Yes.
However, he shouldn't show up as a ranked athlete.
But
there's
sometimes
no
they don't
rankings.
offer. Sometimes they don't offer a second pro division or a pro wave later that day. What if you live near there? You want to compete, and you're like, well, Open's the only one that's available. I still want to get in a training run.
I love it, but remove yourself from the results.
You wouldn't do that if you won.
100%.
When have you removed yourself from the results after
He's
winning?
never done
something?
age group.
I've probably walked off 10 Spartan courses before the finish line.
Nice, dude.
Running
Tahoe
later in the day,
Ultra,
getting a workout. I've wore different people's timing chips for later in the day races. Absolutely.
I've done second laps without wearing a timing chip, but
Yeah.
by then they already gave awards and stuff. It was just like 2:00 and
Right.
Okay,
My
done.
point is we both done it. I have nothing wrong with what he did. I just don't think that there should be a system in which I don't know. My big thing is that just like Rich, I'm tired of it's it's stolen valor, but for fitness.
It's lying.
Right.
don't
Yeah,
say
I'm
you're a world
tired.
champion if you can't beat an actual world
You don't
champion
have a world
levels
record.
time. Yeah.
Right.
You're
You
not
don't
a
have
world champion. And this is what I do when I get a message from someone on Instagram and months later I get around to checking it. If I don't know who they are, the first thing I do is I click on their profile. And so often you see a profile that is just not fully accurate.
Correct.
I just saw one, what was it, 5 or 6 days ago, and it said like Spartan. It had like gold medal, Spartan race world championship, gold medal, Dekafit world champion, gold medal, higher, whatever it was. Like, but there was no
Is it
identifier.
Killian?
It didn't say age group. It didn't say anything like that. There was no asterisk. There was no identifier. Your title is your identifier, right?
Yeah.
You can't say I'm president of the United States. It's president
I'm
of
class president and I live in the United States.
Right. I am
right.
president of my HOA in the United States. You have to have that important differentiator in there. Otherwise, they confuse student council with running the freaking world. But they're doing it on purpose. There's not a character limiter. You're choosing
100%.
it for, like you said, you're chasing clout. And because of those people, we need a Rankovic is the hero that we deserve. We may not
We
have
need a
asked
woman
for
to do
him,
it.
but it's the one we need.
What's the women's open world record?
That's a good question.
Because I want to see Meg or Lauren or Linda just go in there and destroy it just to make sure. Just set the curve, like Bracken said.
Yeah, Alex 30, 38, Dieter 54, 26, who has been in the Elite 15.
He raced this past weekend, I thought.
He was
Right
in that
around
race.
10.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
And so when there's a bad system, all you can do is ignore it or make a mockery of it.
It seems to be less on the women's end. It's Jana Sussman. It was
A different
59,
Jana.
59, 32. Jack, one of your faves, Yowie Bolin.
Yoey Bolin. Yeah.
She's third, 60, 47. I mean, like, these are fast times, but they're not as fast as the
I'm going to check her profile, see if she brags about being the third fastest.
being third fastest ever.
Probably not. Actually, I'll
Solely
save
based
myself.
on my sampling historically, men are way more likely to claim stolen fitness valor on their social media profile than women are.
Oh, yeah. I would have been world champ if coach put me in type of stuff.
No, they're actually saying I am world champ.
Yeah. I've
am.
done this. You can't prove that I
I
haven't.
won a world title.
because
yeah.
people just don't know and don't care. They're like,
Yeah.
whatever, fine. And like, so
But then they go to like the Megiddo argument. It saturates the industry. You know,
Mhm.
that argument for this. They're going to sponsors, and if the sponsor doesn't know your industry, they have the same pull as you have now.
or they're selling programs. Or they're
Selling
stepping on our
programming.
corners. Like, check out my programming of this and that's probably stolen as well. That's probably they're probably attending night school, taking what you're telling them.
I mean,
it out as their own.
you have had the same thing happen. Kirk and I have had several people reach out for coaching, leave a little while later, and that week offer their coaching plan.
Then jump into a race.
Eventually you get a screenshot from someone and it's like, wow, you forgot to even change the verbiage I use. It's this is the thing that happens. And I don't personally get too worked up. Early on I did. I don't get worked up about it anymore because the fitness world is so huge. No one's running out of clients.
For sure.
Unless you're burning every bridge. But still, Ronkovich is leading the charge. He's our white knight.
Do you guys get a bunch of suggested videos these days where it's like how to get into the top 100 of the farmers carries this week, like that kind of stuff? And then you click on the person's profile and it's like you didn't even break an hour and a half in
they've done nothing.
The open. It's like, why are you claiming yourself as a coach?
For sure. And this is just it, like, right, like, and people can have this on there and then nobody can like follow up and say anything's different.
Yeah.
So shout outs to Alex, but like, don't like the idea of it being a different race. I also just kind of disagree with. People say that, but like, it's not.
No,
because World Championships is pro. They have these open championships during the year. I don't know why, but I don't know.
CrossFit has multiple events with different weights. Why can't Hyrox?
But if it's an event with different weights, it's not like.
I know it's CrossFit's not standardized.
The best athletes still will win, right? It'll be an event alone. It'll be like, okay, this one just happens to have lighter weights than the Rogue invite. Wadapalooza, just different workouts. But the same top 5 are going to be the top 5.
They'll find a way. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what
and
would
I
happen.
like the idea of running an open, working way hotter than usual prior to a big race. I think that's great training. I agree with the concept of it. All the people that ran doubles and relays, that's really good training stimulus. I like it.
Yeah.
But don't run H group with your timing chip. Take your splits on your watch.
Yeah. All right. But that's it. I mean, that we won't have to talk about this ever again because
what if you go after a Rich?
Right. It's going to have to be someone in the elite who had
like what records
like
what records are not legit anymore, honestly.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, like
every relay is legit. It consists of top 3 at some major at some point, a combination of those or world record holders. Like every relay is good, every co-ed, every pro division. It's just the women's open. That's the only one that's left. And then, close that chapter.
And then it's done.
Question for you then. If you take everyone who's run the Elite 15 and you run them all, let's say we have 30 people at World Championship pro weight, and then you run it again 2 weeks later on open weight, how much do the results change?
With the Elite 15, that's interesting.
I think that since on the men's side, you typically see wall balls being a much bigger factor. I think a lot of people are going unbroken with a 14 versus a 20. And that would actually change things up a little bit.
I think it would change things. I don't know up top, like
is someone notably like a world top 10 to 12 with pro and suddenly podium contender and open, or like is Hunter not the number 1 ranked open guy? Is someone else going to be better? Like, is there a big swing, or is it kind of like OCR 5K versus 15K where the same people are still going to be good at it?
You probably get like 80% overlap.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a huge difference. Athletes like me or Pelayo, I think, would gain advantage. Rylan would gain advantage. Where someone like Joffrey loses a lot. Like, it's bad for him. But Hunter, Alex, Kent, like, they'll all just be there. It'll be the same
Should they host a standalone pro open?
It could be fun just to see.
Yeah, like cool. The enhanced games. Let's just see what can be done.
Enhanced games.
Yeah, why not? I think so. Just sprinkle a little money out there. And then again, just giving people a target to shoot for. Be like, wow, these pros are running 49. Like 49, like to get top 10, you have to be under 51 or something like that.
Maybe it's the kickoff to every season.
Rich thumbs up.
Just one pro age group weight. as just a goofy game thing. And yeah, set the curve for the year. Here's what can be done. Overspeed training. Let's move on.
That
How
could be
about
something
this?
Spartans would do, or sponsors could do. Just like set up something, be like, this
Yeah.
is going to be the Open Championship, and Hyrox has nothing to do with it.
Automatic spot in the Elite 15 if you win that race.
I like it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be any
Why
different.
not?
I mean, it wouldn't add.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's
get a lot of
qualifying to
people
the
showing
marathon
up.
off the half.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all that
that's
is.
true. That's true. Yeah, or getting a silly course and that's 3 minutes faster, and you're still in. All right. So I thought that was interesting. I loved it. I know a lot of people don't love it, but I think that's a stepping stone. I don't believe it's a different race, in my opinion. Jack disagrees. Other people do disagree. They think it's a different race.
Well, it's a stepping stone, but it's also masters and non-competitive. It's all three, and that's the weird part. That eventually Lucas is going to have to start running age group
Not
at a
really.
lower weight.
Nuh-uh. He can run age group at pro weight.
Only once a year.
Yeah, it's only
At
Worlds, I
Worlds.
thought. I
At
don't
Worlds.
think that they offer
like the
pro
point is,
weight.
once you're not able to get into these majors anymore.
Oh, sure.
Like-
Sure.
So it's a stepping stone, but it's also the retirement home, but it's also for people who are non-competitive. It's all in one, and it's a weird amorphous area.
So maybe they should have a world championship in the fall for Open. Just like make it a different race. But until then, to me, it's not.
Unless they want to make it light and heavy, age group and pro is a weird differentiator.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
Because there's a ton of age groupers who would want pro weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
Oh,
argue
yeah.
more of them would probably want that because
Yeah.
they're probably coming from a
the
strength
running.
side more than a running.
Totally. All right. We want to talk about OCR at all, or should we just move to Deca? What do we have for OCR? We had all right, 2 minutes on the clock, each topic. We're going to start with, what was it?
2 minutes
fast.
isn't enough.
San Diego.
2 minutes.
San Diego. We had
Spartan San Diego.
Sean Roberts come in, whoop some butt. Never thought that he'd come back to Spartan scene, but
Back.
he
Said he wouldn't. Broke his word.
He's coming for that sprint world title. And he needed to qualify. He'll be a big bear. He's going for Seattle also. So
Oh, he's going to Big Bear.
yeah.
He'll have to get a,
He lives in LA now. Or LA area.
nice.
Oh,
So-
yeah. So he has to do a series race to get to Seattle.
Yes.
And he just happened, the calendar lined up perfectly where there was a race in San Diego before Big Bear, pretty close to home, where he could sign up for that and then get in. All he needs to do is top 20 in Big Bear, which he just won a race. He should be able to do that. And then get top 50 at Seattle. And then he can prove he's good enough to go and race the Sprint Worlds.
Shout out to them. Glad he's back.
Yep.
There's a competitive athlete in the mix now. That's great.
One of his rivals will not, though. Yeah, Ryan Kempston suffered a torn Achilles, which really sucks.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's-
Hoops are hard
brutal.
for an endurance athlete.
Yeah, we were
It's not
talking
much
a little bit before the show. He was doing some home repairs, then decided to play a little pickup basketball, and did not go well.
That's the poison pill, according to
and
Bracken.
Bracken says there's a high correlation between doing home repairs and Achilles injuries. Apparently,
Very high. Getting a lot of messages about it.
a lot of people
A
talking. about it.
lot of people. So that's a bummer. Thoughts out to Kempson. I mean, tough time that's never a good time to have that happen. But in like your mid 30s.
He
Yeah.
lost last year, essentially, half of the season with his hammy.
Hamstring. And he was good. Also, Palmerton, that was a very convincing win in the 3K. He had that sprint
Savage
finish with
series.
Sean Savage series. Yep.
So that's
When
tough.
he was fit, it was as good as we've seen him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then he didn't get to run championship season, and now he's lost this year.
Yeah.
That's 12, 13 months.
He does do the little things though. So I think in terms of
Mhm.
rehab, like he's always done that. The the mobility in the pool and that kind of stuff. He'll be good recovery wise, but it's tough mid-30s to have that happen to you as an athlete.
Yeah,
It
it's
is,
not
and
what you want.
he's not an old man basketball style of player. Like, he's a leaper. That's his comparison to OCR. He's boundy. He flies in and off things. He bounds downhill. He runs with abandon. And that is a really key component to being able to do so. And he doesn't have the old man game like a Ryan Woods or a Killian, for example, would adapt better to a big injury than a Johnny Lunalima or a Ryan Kempson, because they rely on their athleticism more than Woods or Killian ever did. And so it's tough to see that type of athlete go through this, because he's either going to have to get lucky that his body repairs, or he's going to have to adapt his game.
So we hope for a speedy recovery for Kempson, but we definitely won't see him on the course this year for sure. It's about a year turnaround generally.
We won't see him on course in any sort of capacity until next summer or fall.
Probably, yeah. We had one of the best athletes in OCR take on a road 10K. Gregory Basilico runs, Jack, what did he run?
30:01.
30:01. That's back-to-back 15 flats.
That's disgusting.
That's really, that's gross.
From someone who does OCR, not just a pure road runner, like he's still training for OCR. That unheard of.
So that kind of, it gets us thinking, right? Because 30:01 is really fast. And yet in the running world, it's what?
Still like 10% slower than the world record. Like it's
still
good.
Pretty good.
Very, very
it's not
good.
Slow.
It's sub-elite. Is that the term?
Yeah, it's sub-elite.
Probably.
It's
Local
D3
elite.
that probably qualifies you for nationals. So that is probably the fastest 10K we've seen run by an active OCR athlete. But how fast is that? Rich, in your day, at your prime, what's your 10K ceiling?
31 flat, probably.
31 flat?
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's probably on the higher
Parker
end.
Valby, for example, just ran the NCAA record for women.
She missed the Olympic trials by 10 seconds. 30:50 was it?
50-ish.
Yeah, 30:51.
That's
something.
really good.
Yeah, solo. Like she was lapping people.
She's always solo.
And that's my mark of being a good male runner, is that you would be a great female runner.
Right. Right.
That's good.
Because she was 11th place in the all-time American list. Like if you're approaching the top 10 ever U.S. women, like you're a very good runner as a guy.
An NCAA record.
The women are insane. Yeah.
Right. So the equivalent to me is like a
30-50.
14, what would you call it? 1440, 1450 5K.
For a
30 flat?
I'd say 1420.
Oh no. Yeah, that might be like 1420.
Yeah.
1420.
Which is like a pretty decent collegiate runner.
Yeah.
D3.
Even still with super shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a good D3 runner.
So comparing that down now to what we've seen in this world, pre-OCR, Woods was 1350.
Right.
During OCR, he wasn't as quick, obviously, but it puts him right up into some of the fastest running we've seen. Hobie was 14.0. Cody was 14 low.
I've got an article on it.
Yeah. While they were running?
No,
while they're
college.
doing OCR? This might be the fastest
active
road run time across
of a full-time OCR.
Of a full-time OCR that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, you don't get much faster than 1440 typically in the OCR world.
And that, if you're 1440, that's crazy. That's
so I think we've seen Botras in that fitness before, but I don't know if he did it. I think Chad Trammell was sub 15 shape. Hobie and Cody obviously were.
You think Anthony Kunkel? I know he's not.
I don't know what he runs in a 5K, but he's also not an OCR athlete.
Okay.
I mean, he is, but.
And I just looked it up, and it's equal to a 14:19. This 30:01.
Yeah, 14:20.
So pretty close.
So then Jordan McDougall. He's a sub 15 guy. I mean, he was 14 flat. Right?
Yeah, we're not sure during
OCR. But point is, we're searching to find people who were for sure sub 15 people. So this immediately puts him, and that's just sub 15. We're talking if 1420 is right about what we think that's worth. It puts him top in terms of all-time running metrics for full-time people. It's top 5 fastest runner ever in OCR.
Easily.
With Hobie, Cody.
You think Yatsko?
Hobie, Cody, McDougall, Yatsko, and
Botras has to be.
And Woods for just proven PRs.
Oh, well, Sean Robert.
Yeah.
For 5K and above, I'm talking.
Max King, but he
wasn't. I don't count him
for a little
full-time.
bit. Yeah.
Anyway, he's top 5 to 7 all-time fastest for full-time OCR people. In active OCR, he's probably top 2,
Who?
right?
What do you think Albin could do?
Better.
I don't know how fast Albin is. I don't know.
I'd probably put him about like a 15 flat, but he has so many intangibles.
Oh, he's certainly sub 15.
You think so? Okay.
Not like actively, but he might be like 6 weeks away. We saw him pivot. He did 4 weeks or 6 weeks of 400s, and he ran 226 on a course with 1,600 feet of vert for a marathon.
Yeah,
that's dumb.
He translates well, but outrageously fast is the point.
All right, moving on. That was
one
5
other
minutes. We're hoping
OCR
for 2
related one
minutes.
with running Boston Marathon. We had 3 guys. OCR.
Who we have out there?
Logan
out
Broadbent,
there. Where do you end up finishing?
231.
Nice.
We had Jesse Bruce, 239.
39.
Solid.
Yeah, at like 42 years old, I think, or so. Like,
so what pace is that? 239 was that like?
He
right
was like 605.
No, 558.
604.
Is 60?
I thought like 237 and change was right about 6 flat pace.
Yeah, if you break
Said
238, I think you're.
Yeah.
So he's not running.
604.
That's his Hyrox pace.
Yeah, probably very close.
It's
and
true.
then Derek York.
Yep, 235. He, as crazy as it sounds, Derek York properly paced the Boston Marathon. So
Didn't he?
Good for him.
He led the Boston Marathon and
truly led it. Actually, speaking of best pure runners at the time, like he honestly could be
at
up
his
there.
best. At his best for sure.
He was
What
like
was
a
his
29
best?
something 10K.
He was good. He was.
Yeah, he was the number 1 runner at Adams State.
Yeah,
and
maybe
they're
was he D2 All American?
Yeah, he was
absolutely.
He was really good.
So he's a sub 30 10K guy.
Yeah, he was 29 something. And that I don't think it was at altitude, but like he was living at 7,000 feet in Alamosa. But yeah, Derek York, for people who aren't aware, he's done Deca Hyrox a little bit, mainly more on the Deca side, some OCR, but maybe 10, 15 years ago, he decided I'm fit enough. I'm gonna get on camera, see how long I can lead this thing. Have my kids watch me on TV.
He was that guy.
5K. He was leading the Kenyans and the Ethiopians.
He led for 5K?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He went through in like 14 something, and I think he finished at 259 or 3 flat. So it was like the nastiest.
You got to stop for a little, right? Like if I'm doing,
how many people on earth can run sub 15 and hang on for sub 3?
That's poor pacing.
A 3-minute rest.
I care about that more than the 500 sub 5 challenge.
Yeah.
Sub 15, sub 3 in the same effort.
Shout out to all those dudes out at the Boston Marathon. We have
2015 was when it was.
That's awesome.
We had a bit of a backup in obstacles in Spartan, so this is something to be aware of. The numbers are up. Obstacles are crowded out there. BK, you had some insight?
20 to 30 minute wait or Z-Wall. It's not called Z-Wall anymore, is it?
Did they have the new Z-Wall?
Yeah.
With the monkey bar situation?
Stuff
What's it called now?
Is there a sponsor in there?
I think Z's no longer in it.
They probably changed the vowel. It's probably like the Y wall or something.
Wall traverse or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, 20 to 30 minutes there. Olympus. I mean, hundreds of people queued up and waiting in the.
Is this open or age
sun?
group?
Open.
Okay. I think that's fine then.
Is it?
Maybe it could have been
longer than it
age
takes
group.
to get into like a concert or a pro sports event. Like you're just trying to,
yeah.
As soon as you get through one, you're gonna be in the same situation.
30-minute wait for an obstacle.
Spartan's gonna start having selling like fast passes, like clear. You can get in there and you
like
Disney?
that.
And you can just like skip the line. You have your own lane to go up through. You get the credit.
Sponsored by Staples. Easy button fast pass lane.
Staples still exist. It'd be the last ditch effort.
Did that
it's a Battle Frog move. Yeah. Just like throwing money out there. But yeah, I think that makes sense. You get the credit card. You get you get a discount on your fast pass. Synergy. He's business genius. Business genius.
Hire rich.
But even though it sucks, it is a positive that they have enough people at their events to have a backup.
Yeah.
Good for the growth of the brand.
There's some money coming in, not going to go to athletes, not going to pay anybody. We know that.
Speaking of, did you see the Boston Marathon article
10
about a
years
winner
for-
from 10 years ago or a woman took second 10 years ago at Boston, and number one got popped for doping. And so she got elevated to number one, but they had already paid the 100,000 to first place.
100,000.
And for 10 years, she's been waiting on her $100,000 win bonus or win prize money because they're trying to recoup it from the
She wouldn't give it
doper.
back.
Yeah, can you give? Can it? Do they have to give it back?
That's kind of like the agreement. It's if you test positive, you give it back.
Is it?
They
I
have to
think
go
it's
through
like
the court
actually,
system.
yeah, I was gonna say it's actually harder to get the money, but I believe that's in like the rules ahead of time for most.
Because
of
how
these
do you
things.
sue a foreign citizen? It's tough. Anyway, she's been waiting 10 years. Can you imagine finding out you won and you got 100K coming your way, and a decade later you're still waiting on it? Like, that's
Spartan's looking
life-changing
good
money.
right now, and that's probably like, closer to 200,000 present day value.
So I've got to say that I'm disappointed in Boston.
For them to pay?
For them, yeah. I mean, to stiff someone. I don't care about all the logistics behind it. You are such a big organization with huge sponsors. You have to pay. They have as much obligation to pay her as the other person has to pay them back.
You think?
10 years. 10 years for a world-class. This is a world-class organization.
You don't just
It's
get
a major.
$100,000 is just like arrive. You can't just like have it and then be like, oh, you need some? Here you go. Like,
If
I
they
think
don't
it's
have
paid-
100,000 in their marketing budget for a world marathon major.
What's it?
They don't have
40,000.
They don't have an extra $100,000.
Absolutely.
Not
You know
for
how much
that.
merch they sell?
That doesn't go to the
All the blue and yellow stuff. Everyone
I see it.
knows.
Everybody loves the winter time. Boston qualifiers love winter running more than anybody else. They just
Anyone.
throw on that jacket, stroll around.
Point is, they owe her the same as they owe everyone that they promised to pay. They have to pay her.
All right. Hey,
10 years waiting on the 100 grand.
next April, put it in the
another,
bracket.
Another OCR tangent running thing. Alicia Montano, who got upgraded to bronze from 4th place in the 800 at the 2012 Olympics, because someone just recently got busted, and she's trying to take a stance where it's like, hey, you cost me a ton of money in sponsorships, because having that medal, that you're going to get some lucrative deals there, and just she wants to have that award ceremony instead of being like, oh, I got my medal delivered to me because someone knocked on my front door. So she's trying to do something where in Los Angeles or Paris that they're going to recognize former doped or people who got upgraded due to doping offenses.
Did you say doo-doo again? But
Doping.
at a point, I relax.
But she got robbed of her moment,
I
realistically.
know, but like, it's not going to be the same moment. She's going to try to recreate it. Like,
I
it's
know.
not,
Sponsors aren't going to come out now.
yeah, he's like, oh, okay, congrats. Like, yes, if she wanted to bring a lawsuit towards somebody, she might have a case. But
I
But
suppose
it's
Who?
international.
who's she going to sue? The individual? Like, they're not going to have money
Yeah.
to pay. Like, what is she
Yeah.
going? Like, what is she going to get out of this other than just like people are not even going to remember what she did. It's
I
going to be
feel for
weird.
her,
Yeah, it
but
sucks.
there's no win. There's no win waiting. There's no positive outcome to this.
No. That to me is like, hey, just accept your third. It'll be in the record books.
Start a podcast and complain about things.
That's basically the answer to everything.
It's the formula. Yeah.
That's
Then
the answer to
sponsors come
everything.
pouring in.
People love it. People love it. We claim her?
She ran a Big Bear once.
That's true.
And I think she
She's
won a
ours.
trail race also. So
That's true. That's
the
right.
whole Spartan profile.
We did a pretty good job of sticking around 2 minutes. I think we got a little over the top with. We got a little excited about Basilico. That's
It's
stretched to
hard not
5.
to.
How can you not? Historical.
It's great. It's great.
As
Yeah.
someone who's run a good 5K and a good 10-mile, Rich, you should care more than any of us.
Yeah, I care. That never translated very well to OCR for me. He's doing it better than I was doing it. So he might be. Is he going to do OCR this year? We'll see him at
I
Trifecta
mean,
probably.
He got second at World Champs in the
Stop.
Beast.
Stop
I
this.
think he has the stride that is prettiest on terrain of anyone in the history of OCR on the men's side.
He
I think he
looks
has the
fast.
fastest looking terrain stride I've ever seen from an OCR lifer.
All right, we're back on this now. I got to add it to the time. Jack, we got a Dekafit coming up.
Yeah, we do.
We got
SoCal.
we got an exciting start list.
Do you want to know who's on the women's side? It's gonna be a battle.
I do want.
And I heard Morgan Schultz is actually not going anymore, which is
I
kind of
didn't think she was
disappointing.
going. Yeah,
She's on the list, but
she's
Derailed.
Anaheim
Derailed.
going.
I ran
Okay.
across Morgan Schultz's name this morning while I was pulling up results to the Running Public's burpee 10K and
Hey.
beer mile.
You were pulling that out?
Yeah, I
she'd
had
be
an
rich.
athlete
Please
do-
tell me she'd be rich in the beer mile.
No way.
I had an athlete do the burpee
I
10K
beat
this
you.
morning, and I wanted to pull up historical context for, and I saw Morgan Schultz sub 7 beer mile. I still think that might be her best event of all things.
It's a
She
good.
could be
It's a good time domain for her.
oof, she
618
could
right
put him
here.
down and run with it. 656, 654, something.
Jack,
good.
if I was wearing gloves, drinking bottles,
Jealous.
I would have busted that ass. I was
You gonna
drinking
do the
foamy.
swirl?
I was drinking foamy ass
Yeah.
cans,
Yeah, maybe do some research next time, which you don't do for your drafts either.
and I just go out there and just muscle the thing. I went out at like 64, and then I couldn't breathe or drink any
She
beer.
ran 64.
I ran really fast.
My last lap was like a 69 or a 70. So I definitely was feeling it then with
Yeah, he had to get into
all-
the shade. He had an imperative
There's no shade on this track.
Dude, it
reason to
was-
get off that track.
It was
Yeah.
so hot that weekend. Doing that burpee 10K, I was stopping and getting water because I was hot, very warm. 4th of July.
No one wants Gaudet in that.
Nasty. Anyway,
Deca.
back to Deca real quick. So despite Morgan not being there, we're going to have Lauren Weeks,
Mm.
have Viola, or sorry, not Viola, Vivian Tafuto, Lauren Griffith, Teresa Ramfola, who has podiumed before.
Yep.
Katie Duke, she was in the first wave at Dekafit Worlds last year. Haley Brogan, who's been on the podium a couple times for Dekafit. Got some names.
That's legit. And these could be fast times because Lauren just ran 6-minute miles for 9 miles.
15K, or
Yeah. At what is Salt Lake
in
City?
Salt Lake City, it's probably
4,000,
4 to
5,000?
5,000. Yeah.
Pretty
And
good.
even better, they're all coming back in the co-ed category. And you're going to have Anthony Parasini, who got an early mention in this, Lauren's husband, teaming
He
up
just
with
ran a
Lauren.
BQ 2 weeks ago.
Sub
Yeah.
3 on a nice 8,000
Did
foot
sub 3 and
downhill
then-
course or
And
something.
bench
Yeah.
315, the old
That was impressive. Yeah.
hybrid challenge.
Yeah. But anyway, Lauren Weeks and her husband are teaming up. Kevin Gregory's coming from the East Coast. He is teaming up.
Can't help himself.
Oh yeah. So he's going to be in there, and I think that he is teaming up with Lauren Griffith. So the two
Nice.
of them head to head. That's going to be nasty.
That will be nasty because Anthony can put out power. He is a power athlete. So if he could probably hang with a lot of the stations. So if they want to even split it, because Bubbles is allergic to running in these things, he just doesn't want to do it. So if they split it half and half, I think Anthony can hang.
He's here to do a 15-second assault bike,
Dude,
and you will thank him for it.
But he
It's-
won all 3 races. It's the biggest impact in the entire.
It's
I'm
so
not
funny.
knocking it.
It's funny watch. I've raced him in the doubles twice now, and he gets off the bike and lays on the ground for a little bit. It's like the middle of the race. That's the old BK. He took that out of the
Learning
book
from
of-
the
the
best.
book
nap
of
right
BK.
there. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, Lauren's racing Hyrox faster than a marathon pace.
Probably yes. I would say that's fair.
She falls on that side of the line.
Yeah.
Well, we
for
knew
sure.
her mod is crazy. Yeah.
Miss
But yeah,
Mark.
Lauren Griffith, I would not sleep on her given
I mean, she was third
a
at
real
Worlds
good
last year.
battle. Yeah.
She's third. She's aggressive. She's an aggressive runner. She's not afraid to
Same training program.
run directly into the pain cave and just hang there. So it's a good event for her.
Definitely. Yeah. And Vivian not getting 4th this time.
I mean,
And
these are.
didn't she have the #1 seed last year in all of Dekafit at one point? And then she got COVID right before Worlds.
I think she would have been like the favorite. I don't know if her time may have been #1 seed without Meg attending. So
Yeah.
potentially,
Yeah.
she would have been the favorite going in if she got COVID right before. That was tough.
Yeah.
She
Tough time.
should have just been like me, showed up sick as a dog, and then just stunk up the place and dropped out.
Tear an imaginary body part and call
The
it a day.
Plantaris? That shit is it exists.
Totally
Doesn't-
real.
Not anymore.
We are in the presence of a comedy
Yeah.
god. Oh, he's throwing
Callbacks,
zingers.
callbacks, and
I'm,
everything. Jack's got
I'm
some
throwing a
spice
few.
on him today.
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
Jack, if
you
you were a
guys made
spi-
fun of my pyramid. I'm not letting that go down.
Jack,
all
if you were a spice, what would you be? Like paprika?
right? Actually, that's really good on
pepper.
swordfish. I had that recently.
Smoked
Really
paprika's
good
what's
on
up.
swordfish. He's not just a comedian. He is a cultured
Seriously, use an
gentleman.
air fryer. I'm telling you,
I knew he
garlic.
cooked. I knew he cooked it up
pepper,
himself.
salt,
That he didn't
paprika,
go out. He didn't go out and get
little
that
lemon.
swordfish.
Yeah.
He
It's good
followed
stuff.
up
Yeah.
his paprika on swordfish, which with I cooked it on the air fryer.
I'm telling the listeners an easy way to get good fish. All right. We're having a cooking party with VJ and Sarah this week, showing
Whoa.
how
An
to use the crock
engineer
pot.
for you.
Who didn't
Yeah.
invite me?
You want to come? Feel free. We're going to watch Physical 100 also.
Okay.
Season 2. I've seen a couple
Season 2.
episodes
I
so far.
started to watch that as like I was just like kind of while
You gotta
doing
be able
work,
to
just having
commit.
something else. It's too. I can't. I'm
You
not
gotta
sitting there
commit.
watching like dead watching with all my intention some goofy ass show with subtitles.
Got
I
to.
have no problem sitting there and giving attention, but it has to be a show like Shogun. Then I'll read the
Season 1
subtitles.
Season 1 was really good. Season 2, these first 2 events, I've only seen 2 episodes. It will make you want to punch the TV at how unathletic some of them are with the first challenge.
Lisa and I watched that after Hyrox, Rich and I's Hyrox. We were there for the rest of the weekend, and each night we'd lay in bed and just watch hours of Physical 100.
It's addicting.
I couldn't walk anyway. It's perfect.
Bracken, what was your
it's good?
favorite event season 1?
The one where they're running up and down that Atlas stone. What's
Push the ramp. And-
what's the Sisyphus?
It's like the eternal punishment where you just keep
Yeah,
having to
I think
push it
that's
over. And it was
Sisyphus.
sort of like the beep test where you had to push
Yeah,
it
that
over.
was the best one.
That was my favorite event as well. But anyway, watch it if you haven't. But let's go back to Dekafit SoCal on the men's side. Obviously, we have that good women's battle. I'll just go down in order of signing up. Cody Futon, who has been on your show, coming down from Canada.
The man with the
John-
mustache.
Mustache man.
John Clark,
Nice.
Dustin Needham, Isaac Sanderson.
He's everywhere.
Aaron Nolan, sub 32.
Mm.
Joshua Gonzalez, sub 32. Tyler Veerman making his debut.
Veerman.
Ooh.
Grayson Kilgore making his debut.
Nice.
James Muscart, who's done pretty well in Hyrox from the UK. Glenn Race is going to be there. John Howard, Chaz Hatton, sub 32. Blake Mistretta. I'm curious to see how he does. He whooped us in the team race in Chicago. He was
Oh
on
yes.
that,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
He
Um,
wasn't in our race.
Yeah, you're right. He was in a different wave. We had that.
Different tier,
Um,
different stack on the pyramid.
Heat.
This is like 10 deep though. You've got 6
Yeah.
or 7 guys who've gone sub 32. I think you're going to see a lot of fast times. Knoxville was the season opener. California tends to get a little bit better competition, and most of these guys are going to be in Sacramento a few weeks later as well, including me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I say Deca, you say Fit. This will be fun. This will be fun to get a good sample size of what the season's going to be like. Again, new standards, so we don't expect the times to be necessarily head and shoulders above like the progress we've seen in Hyrox. Courses are a little bit more standardized, or a lot more standardized than we've seen in Hyrox. So it'll be fun to see where people are at this point of the year as Dekafit kind of starts to gain some steam.
Yep. Watch it on the OCR report. It's going to be good.
Shoot, I had something here. I had
We
something.
can do a
I forgot.
recap on it next week. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll touch on it. Oh, someone else talk. I have something, but I lost it. Someone else talk.
We're waiting you out.
Someone else talk.
We're waiting you out.
Well, then
Damn,
you're getting
awkward for you.
shoes.
Oh, nice. I've been-
TRP
Now
ordered a
Riz can suddenly
pair
talk.
of Metaspeed Sky Paris.
Ooh, they did some retooling to that,
Entirely new
and they're just calling it Paris for the marathon, but they retooled
for the
it.
Olympics.
for
Yeah,
the
it's a
Olympics.
completely new upper,
I see.
more stack, and it is lighter than the Vaporfly now.
That was you're high on that
Loved it.
build one. I just look at that Rebellion Pro behind you. Just makes me excited. I'm like, man, look at that thing. Start
Yeah.
bouncing along. I don't know what I was going to say. I don't think I have anything.
Touched a lot of stuff, or a lot of topics this week.
Yeah, we did a good job. Nice job, us.
Good job, guys.
So if you agree that we do a good job, you want to give us a little shout, little boost through Patreon, you can take a look at that link down in the show notes. We got a Facebook group where we kind of drop some chats, some question prompts. If you want to chat with us, this is the best place to do it. We're not super active on the Instagram in terms of replying to things or really kind of getting conversations going. So, but if you're interested in getting the conversation rolling, you can pop into our Patreon. We have many different options for you. And then you could join the Facebook group if you want in on this convo.
You
Anything
love
else?
pyramids.
We love geometrically correct pyramids.
Nah. Let us know in the comments. Go on YouTube. Tell us what you think about the pyramid shape.
This is just Jack on that paprika spice. He's just like
The thing is that a
spicy.
pyramid shape is defined.
yeah.
They've already established it.
If
we
you
kept
look
it.
at this, pull up, Rich, screen share right now. Pull up a pyramid.
No, we're out of here.
We're
It's
not.
over.
This
Bring it to the
conversation is not
Patreon,
done.
Jack.
we already did the Patreon pitch.
Smash that button and meet me in the comments.
What do you got on TRP?
So we've been doing this series, how to run your best blank. We started with the mile, moved to 5K, then we hit marathon, then we hit ultra. And this week was how to run your best everything. How do you take the pieces of all of it, keep it present all the time, and never be more than 3 to 6 weeks away from running pretty darn near your best?
I like it.
You doing some 400 repeats?
No.
Okay.
No, you got to have minimum effective dose of speed in this everything plan. 400 is too costly.
Too costly.
For the true speed work to be ready for the mile, it's got to be shorter while buoyed by that mid ground, that 40 to 60 minute engine. Can't be wasting time doing 400s when you're trying to also be ready for an ultra.
Yes, you got to listen to the episode if you want to know.
You guys still have guests?
Yes, we still have guests.
Check out the Q&A.
I saw Kirk just missed breaking 2 hours in that Zumbro 17 miler.
Yep, got the master's record though. That's what he was there for.
Got it. Missed it by 2 seconds. The 2 hour barrier.
17-mile trail run just doesn't
Sounds horrible.
of a race. Yeah, I would just
Kirk
go
can just
trot.
grind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 80 that day.
Yep.
Really?
Also, leave us a review. I mentioned it last time. We got no new ones. So do it.
All right. That'll be that. Nice job today, fellas. We'll talk to you soon.